So, quick introduction to me. I'm editor-in-chief for the Sustainable Brands Journal. My name is Prachi Bishnoi. Nice to meet you. I would just now wanted to just give you a little bit introduction about you first, and then I'll maybe start with the questions.
Okay. My name is Dr. Ali Jassim. I'm the president of Circular Cities Network and chairman of Society of Sustainability and Green Materials. I have a PhD in business management, master's in business accounting, and a bachelor degree in civil engineering.
Okay.
28 years of experience in
Wow.
different domains and fields, from transportation to logistics to energy sector.
Wow. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah.
Is this noise is because of the door is open, or is this music for this place? I'm sorry, because it's so loud that even if I record his voice, it will not be heard later on. I don't want to just go all in and then just be disappointed later on that I can't hear anything. Yeah, it's so loud, it's overpowering our conversation. Yes, so it's wonderful to have you here with us, Dr. Ali. I want to just start with the first very important question, that what inspired you to found this for the UAE? Yes, I know that it's already been started in Singapore, and I think you're the key person who got this here in UAE.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm amazed at how UAE always try to be at the forefront of everything amazing happening around the world. But what was your
The
inspiration?
story behind Circular Cities Network is an amazing story, and I think
Yeah, that's
the
amazing.
history will record it. It was an idea between me and another person who is the main supporter of the idea, honestly. And we were discussing how we can expand the summit that happened in Singapore
Right.
and take it to the global level. And that discussion brought Circular Cities Network, and it's happening in Dubai, and it will happen next year
Wow,
in Europe and so on. So
that's amazing.
inspiring true story.
Right, that's great. So, what are the key sectors or industries which needs to collaborate to ensure the success of zero waste and carbon neutral cities in collaboration with circular cities? What sectors majorly are we looking at?
I think the answer to that question will be a collaboration between urban planners,
Right.
architects, engineers,
Right,
I would say decision makers,
right.
politicians,
Yeah, of course.
and the people who are involved into the whole idea and a project. And it is not one mold or one answer that fits all.
Right, right,
Each city has its own
Yeah.
unique answer,
right,
but they have to be a collaboration among all of them so they can provide the right solution. And
right.
it cannot happen from one angle or from one domain, like is the solution urban design or is the solution a new architectural design?
Right.
No, that's not the solution.
Right.
A collaborative scheme will be the right solution depending on the need and the requirement of that specific city.
Right. But how do you see the concept of circular cities evolving over a decade for UAE specifically?
I think we are in line with the targets of
Yeah.
the UAE
Yeah,
and the
that I
vision
agree.
of the UAE.
Absolutely.
And I think it has been growing enormously and substantially,
Yeah,
and specifically in the last 5 years,
yeah,
exponential growth
yeah,
in terms of interest, in terms of projects,
Right.
in terms of best practices.
right.
We have really unique best practices in the UAE that does
Not being seen anywhere
not being
else.
seen anywhere else.
I agree.
And I think the UAE is leading the region into the sustainability and initiatives as
Yeah,
well as best
yeah.
practices.
Also bringing a shift in the mindsets of people, because I think we've been a very, very consumer centric city or a country, like we are into over consumerism at point, like, right, we've been all splurging
It's a
to
fact.
live our best lives, right? Whoever lives here, I mean, would agree that we live our best lives.
It's a fact. Look at
Right,
it.
yeah.
We had Expo,
Absolutely.
and we are having
We have the
circular
COP.
cities.
We had
have
COP
the
also.
COP.
Yes, last year, of course. Yeah.
So it's leading the region.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And all these people coming from across the globe and different continents of the
Yeah.
world, it means that there is an interest. It means that there is something real happening in
In the
the
UAE. And no, that I agree. I think, of course. So, how does CCN work with government to influence policy making for sustainable urban development?
Well, the collaborative initiative and action that
Yeah.
requires urban designer, architects, civil
Right.
engineers, and landscapers, and so on. Also, the decision maker
Right.
is
The government.
the government as well as a legislator.
Right.
So he has to be on the table.
Right.
And Circular Cities Network build the bridge between all these
The stakeholders at different
stakeholders
levels.
and organizations,
Right.
specifically with the government, so we can bridge how legislation can be prepared in parallel with the solutions.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, how can you give us a preview of some of the transformative ideas or solutions that will be discussed at this circular summit right now that we are here at in Dubai, in Conrad Hotel?
You've seen the first session, and I
Right.
think the second session will be as good, if not better, than
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
session. The solutions that they discussed in the first session is the ecosystems and the biodiversity,
Correct.
and how to blend the
The two.
the two
Right.
together.
Yeah.
And specifically, if a city is located in an area where a great biodiverse and
Cultural and people diversity is
I would
very
say
high.
natural
Yes.
and cultural,
Right.
high level biodiversity is there.
Yeah.
So blending that into a sustainable city
Right.
and circular city is not as easy because each city has its unique,
Challenges. Yeah.
beside challenges, unique geographical
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And most of the cities across the globe are either next to water
Yeah.
or a mountain
Yeah.
or a desert.
Yeah.
And you need to blend either one with your solutions.
Right.
Mankind settled next to water,
Right.
mountain, or in the desert.
Yeah. I mean, less in the desert, but
Think about
I
it.
think UAE made it happen.
And we made
That-
it happen.
yeah,
correct?
of course.
And people
yeah.
in the UAE were settling in the near the water and settling in the desert depending on the seasonal
Yeah.
change.
Right.
So how this is
This has been done. That's definitely, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So mankind was sustainable,
Right.
and we need to continue that sustainability
Right.
somehow. We need to blend with nature and culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a I believe it is a must.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it is a must, and I think that's how the human race evolved.
Yes, but
Yeah.
we need to use the AI and technology.
Right.
We
yeah.
are advanced today. We are
Yeah.
not like
I mean, we can
What
have
we
a
were.
more global perspective on how we are impacting the environment,
I think
and
we
not
should
just making guesses around. Oh, maybe this, maybe that.
I
yeah.
think we have the technology.
Right.
We should utilize the technology in a
Right.
better way where
Right.
we can be more sustainable and more economical and ecological.
Yeah, we can always see the impact of our actions, which is now possible because of AI.
Yes, and we can solve a lot of problems with AI and
Right.
technology.
Right. No, that's a great point. How can cities that are lagging behind on the sustainability effort begin to implement some of the key strategies that we are discussing here or with this non-profit organization? But I think the world at large, I mean, I come from India and we have this huge population challenge now, right? We are a country of 1.4 billion people, and it's becoming increasingly challenging to manage I think the environmental challenge always takes a back seat because the human challenge becomes bigger.
I'll tell you.
Right.
The challenges of each city are
Yeah.
different every decade.
Yeah,
Every decade.
yeah, I agree.
This decade could be the challenge of pollution. Next decade could be
Yeah.
the challenge of traffic,
Correct.
and so on.
Right.
Okay. Now, going back to the challenges, it creates opportunities and solutions.
Right.
One of the solutions is, now the solution could be depending on the priority of that city. Is it
Yeah.
economical?
Yeah.
Is it GDP? Is it
What's
technology?
obviously tops the chart
Is it
at this
innovation?
point of time. Yeah.
At that decade, at that time, the, the top priority on the list is could be economical.
Yeah. Maybe pollution. Maybe air
Maybe pollution. Maybe.
Yeah.
So the solution is not always the same,
Right.
even for that specific city.
Yeah. No,
It
I
differs
agree.
from one city to another, and
Right.
it differs for the same city from
Yeah.
one decade to another.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. So, what role of public awareness and citizen engagement play in the successful implementation of circular city strategies? And how can ordinary people get involved? Because I think that's the key, right?
Yes.
I mean, you can make strategies and
I
planning.
did
And,
a research and I found that knowledge sharing
yeah,
and people's behavior contribute to 30% of the solution.
absolutely, that's true.
And 30% is not an easy number. And I
No,
think
no,
if
yeah.
we change people's behavior
Yeah,
and if we share the knowledge,
right.
then it will add 30% to the solution.
Yeah, yeah. But how do you think? Like, do you think that we need maybe more initiatives across the country or city?
I'll tell you, today
where-
with the social media, the whole
Right.
world is like a small village.
I agree. I agree. That's true.
You do
That's
something
True. You
that
do
works
some
out,
part of the world, and it
then-
spreads like a wildfire. That's
in
true.
no time.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
We should use that and utilize
Right.
it in
Right.
sharing best practices in sustainability.
Yeah.
Sharing
Yeah.
solutions that
Yeah.
works in a circular city. It could be replicated, not necessarily.
Right.
It could be a solution in some of the cities where
Right.
other cities it could not adapt or
Right.
it could not be replicated.
Right.
But the use of AI and technology and social media
Right.
is very,
Right.
very effective and very fast.
Right. That I agree. So, how does CCN leverage technology, like you just said, and innovation to push forward the agenda of sustainability, especially in the urban context?
Our founding organization, each
Right.
one of them specializes in something.
Right.
One of the organizations specializes in green materials.
I'm sorry.
Green materials.
Green materials. Okay.
They have a platform of listing all green materials.
Yeah. Can you just break down or give a few examples to the people what is green
Solar
material?
panel.
Okay.
A small water pump.
Right. Right.
Anything that I'll tell you, there is a company that produces wooden,
Right.
sustainable wooden out of palm trees.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Any material that could be sustainable,
Right.
reusable,
Right.
recyclable, we can track it from A to Z.
Right.
And what happens once you remove it from that building and reuse it?
Reuse it. Yeah.
So one of the organizations has that capability and has that platform, and I think each one of them has a capability. So tracking green materials will prevent greenwashing,
Yeah.
people who can claim carbon emission,
Yeah.
people who can claim that my product is sustainable or not
Yeah.
sustainable.
Yeah.
Where other products claim that they are efficient,
Right.
saving energy,
Right.
all that can be
Right.
exposed today with
Absolutely.
technology and AI
Right.
and
But-
certification as well.
Yeah, yeah, that I agree. But UAE being a hub of construction, let's say, right? We've been leading in best infrastructure in the world, having some iconic buildings to showcase to the world, which sets an example. In that scenario, do you think it's increasingly more important to involve developers, builders? Because I think that particular segment is by nature driven by being a very profit centric business, right? So how do you? I mean, it is right. The real estate everywhere in the world is the most profit centric business,
It is a
right?
fact of life. We
Right.
cannot do it without the big developers
Right,
in each
right.
city and each company.
But how do you break?
They have a seat
Yeah.
on the table.
Absolutely,
And they have
absolutely.
a say because
Yeah,
if you're talking about a small
yeah,
part of a city,
right,
you're talking about a developer who has the upper hand
Who has contributed in the construction
and
of that city.
contributing in the construction of
Yeah.
that city maybe 3 times or 10 times
Yeah.
of that chunk that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
So we cannot just ignore it.
Yeah.
They have a role to play and
Yeah.
an important a role to play. They have a seat on the table.
Yeah.
So big developers are there.
Yeah.
We also have an organization for green infrastructure,
Okay. Okay.
and they are experts in
Yeah.
their domain, and
That's
they
amazing.
review the solution
Yeah. Okay.
from their
That's
side
amazing.
as well.
Amazing. So, do we have any plans of bringing these? So, I come from this. The magazine is called the Sustainable Brands Journal. So, I'll tell you the whole thought process behind starting this was that I personally believe that if we change the business environment, we would solve half of the world's problem, right? So if we let out the businesses who don't take the environmental inclusive approach, would should by default be pushed a little back. Then the people who are trying to take it, but unfortunately we'll take time to reach there,
It's true.
right? Right. But how at this organization, because it's a non-profit, why I'm raising this question, because it's a non-profit, otherwise I would not have raised this question. But how do you think that we can bring these businesses who are heavily profit centric to take that shift towards sustainability, where they think that it can also increase their cost? It brings them out of their comfort zone because everything has already been set in an environment they're used to functioning, right?
I'll tell you a true story.
Yeah, yeah,
Each organization,
yeah.
whether it is private, public,
Right.
they have vision and mission,
Absolutely.
correct?
Right.
I propose, this is a true story,
Okay.
I propose
Yeah.
to the UN Secretary General,
Right.
can every entity and organization have under their vision and mission a statement that is linked to SDG number?
Wow. It's amazing.
Now,
Yeah.
commitment cannot be done,
Yeah.
enforcement cannot be done,
Yeah.
but that's a bold initiative that every entity can
That
take
sows that seed in the brain.
and say
Yeah.
that my vision is this, my
Yeah.
mission is this, SDG is this.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's a very
And
good.
then that's
Yeah.
the start.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I really appreciate that, and I'm happy that you're equally driven with passion for sustainability, because I think right now the people who are taking, right now the time we are in, the people who are a part of this whole community are I think 90% of the people are driven more by their passion than anything else. Like,
And if you are
so,
driven
yeah.
with passion, your results are different.
Absolutely, absolutely. So
Thank you so much.
it's wonderful to have you, Mr. Ali, over here, and nice talking to you, and love to hear your vision.